Well, there's the preliminary information from New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio. It was, he says, an intentional act, meaning someone put something, whether it was a bomb, an explosive device, some type of device that exploded inside a dumpster or on the street on 23rd Street in Manhattan tonight, on a busy, crowded, lovely afternoon in the fall in New York City. Authorities now investigating a second site just 4 blocks away, a potential second device, though that has not yet been confirmed, in another garbage can on 27th Street, this one on 23rd Street. The mayor and officials saying there is no evidence of a terror connection. But believe me, if someone's walking around in the streets of New York tonight, putting bombs in a dumpster or bombs in a garbage can, that is terrorism. Steve Rogers is with us, former New Jersey police, Nutley police detective, as well as federal investigators, this sort of thing. Steve, what do you think we have?
Well, Eric, you're right. If somebody's walking around those streets of the city of New York putting bombs in dumpsters and trash cans, that is terrorism. We didn't learn much tonight. What we did learn from the mayor and the officials there is that the act was intentional, and that's very, very important. It's way too early, and I know the mayor repeated it several times, way too early to conclude whether or not it has anything to do with the New Jersey bombs this morning. It's way too early to conclude that it was a terrorist attack. They really gave us nothing other than that this was an intentional attack, and now you have a second device that was found, I believe, on 27th Street. The question is,
well,
Eric, are there more?
That's not confirmed yet. But I mean, let me just walk you back for a second. How could they say they say there's no evidence? Just because there's no evidence of a terror connection doesn't mean this is terrorism. Whether it's radical Islamic terrorism, whether it's a nutcase like George Metesky, remember him, the mad bomber? Back in the 50s, the mad bomber, like 33 bombs over 16 years. He put them in Grand Central. He put them in Radio City Music Hall. 15 people were injured by the mad bomber. He's a New York City legend. And then, as we've been reporting tonight, on and on and on. The LaGuardia bombing, where a bomb was by Croatian terrorists, was put in a locker. That killed 11 people. Car bombs on Fifth Avenue by Palestinian terrorists in 1973 did not go off. The Francis Tavern bombing by the FALN and all those other bombs put in New York City by the FLAN and the Weather Underground all these years. I mean, if this is not terrorism, whether it's domestic, whether it's radical Islamic, what is it? It's terrorism.
Well, that's right. Even if it's a copycat from early this morning, it's a terrorist act. That's the motive. The motive is to terrorize people throughout the city and around the country. Look, what they've got to do is they've got to do very, very quickly. They've got to do the analysis that we talked about earlier with regard to the explosive material. Is it the same as it was in New Jersey? If they find a device, and I'm still unclear on that, on 27th Street, does that device match the device that was used earlier? They have to look at that video footage rather quickly, the footage that they're going to get from stores, from the street corners, et cetera, et cetera. They've got a lot of work to do. I'm a little surprised that they came on this early in the investigation with a conference like that. Little surprised. I think they should have had a little bit more definitive information before they came on the air like that. And they really didn't. I talked earlier. I said, look, we got a calm nerve.
I think their effort was at least to get the information out there and be transparent as possible amid the speculation whether or not, according to one report, that this was construction materials. To try to get the truth out there. I mean, earlier this evening, you got Donald Trump. Way before authorities came out, he called it a bomb. Tonight on the campaign trail, Hillary Clinton was asked about that. She said earlier, before this news conference that we just saw, she said it's important to know the facts about any incident like this, and we certainly are looking at the investigators to try and determine what did happen. I mean, Trump comes out and says it's a bomb, and lo and behold, guess what? It turns out it's some type of device on the street of New York, because we are living in a time of terror, a time in which this is a very real reality in our lives, and it has now gone up another step, tragically and sadly, where we're facing someone putting bombs on the street corners of our city like they have, the terrorists have attacked Israel for so many years.